5 tips to save money when you're on a special diet. Let's start. Number 1, buy ingredients rather than pre-made objects. Don't buy yogurt, make the yogurt. Don't buy cheese, make cheese. Buy ingredients. Buy the beans, buy the vegetables, buy rice rather than minute rice. Ingredients are always cheaper than something that's already put together, except on rare occasions. You can buy a pre-made, the rotisserie chickens. I kind of like those as a little spoiler for getting away with something. However, you do have to be careful if you have allergies on those. Number 2, know your prices. Do a price book. Do it first. You can pull out some of your groceries and just see what you paid on them. Or you could do your price book by looking online at the ads. It'll give you at least a start. You can go on to, there's so many grocery stores. You're online, you're watching me. You can go onto their sites and see what they charge for, say, 5 pounds of flour or 5 pounds of sugar or, oh yeah, a gallon of milk. You can see what they charge and then go from there. Now, it really does help to make the book, literally make it. Have a piece of paper, list the grocery stores, places you buy groceries on that, and then do columns down, list the idea. For example, flour. Say it costs you $2 a pound because you buy only a certain kind, and that's okay. You can buy whatever you want. I am not going to tell you what to buy. I am going to tell you how to get it for less. So write down what you buy. Check the per pound or the per ounce price. I like to go pound on some items, ounce on others, and then write it down. Toilet paper, quick tip. Do by the square foot. You'd be amazed because it's too confusing to try to figure that out. Anyway, so you need to know your prices. That means a price book. Next, you can bulk buy. The thing with bulk buying is you buy enough for a certain amount of time. You have to be able to put it away properly, store it so that it won't go bad. So if it's fresh produce and you can't can it, freeze it, or make it up into some type of food prior to it going bad, I mean, be realistic. If you've got 1 hour to cook a meal this week, buy enough for that meal and that's it. Now, maybe cook double of that meal and freeze half of it. I mean, that's one of the things you can do. But don't buy 10 pounds if you can only realistically put away 1. If you have the top of a RV fridge and you've got this teeny tiny freezer, you may only be able to freeze 5 packages. I buy ground beef. I make it into burgers and I make it into Colleen size burgers. So I get exactly what I need out of that. And then the rest of it, I fry up into taco meat. I like tacos and I like burgers. Nothing wrong with that. Now, define what is bulk for you. Well, if you're putting these things away, you need somewhere to put it. So where are you going to put it? Are you going to put it in a closet, under your bed, in your pantry, in a kitchen cabinet because you actually have space? Lucky you. Know where you're going to put it. Decide what's enough food. Enough for you. Do you feel better with a month's supply? I realistically go for 3 months because I've had surgeries and injuries where I ended up being off work for 3 months, and that 3-month supply was totally awesome. Now, I also have more of other stuff that's not going to go bad, but that is totally up to you. Maybe if you can get a week or 2 ahead so you just don't have to stress about having groceries, you'll find it's very amazing. Now, if you have to cook for special diets, which is a lot of us do, we're low salt or low sodium, or we eat low fat, low carb. I mean, I eat gluten-free. It's expensive. If I were to buy everything gluten free that they say gluten free this, gluten free that, I'd go broke. No, I spend about 200 a month on groceries for one person. I'm not going to go broke buying gluten free. I'm going to figure something else out. Um, Now, something I can use for resources is because online they have the different price thingies. My grocery store, my preferred number one grocery store, actually says what I've bought before and then told me what I paid before. So I kind of have an idea if the price is as good as it was or not. Number 4, make some of your basics. Bake bread or biscuits. Or make the soup instead of buying a can of soup, because canned soup has so much sodium and all those ingredients and dyes that some people are trying to avoid, gluten that a lot of us are trying to avoid, things that cause inflammation or allergies. So if you make your own soups, you avoid a lot of stuff. Another thing you can make is yogurt. It's if you make it as a kind of a never-ending thing. You make the yogurt, you use some of the old yogurt to make the next batch. It's fairly reasonable to make your own. You have total control. Your ingredients are milk and yogurt. Milk and yogurt. Now read that package. Now to season my yogurt, make it sweeter, I add a tiny bit of stevia or some citrus, like I'll do a little orange citrus, or vanilla and a little bit of stevia, or a spoonful of jelly. Yum. Or you can keep it not sweetened and it's savory for dressings and stuff, like when you make a kind of a Greek yogurt dressing over cucumbers and onions. Another yummy thing. Rice. I would beat everybody over the head if you could just eat more rice that's cooked from scratch. It's not hard. You rinse it because you're getting any powder off that they use to make it slide out of the bag easily. Rinse it, cook it for 20 minutes for white rice or 45 minutes for brown or mixed rice, and enjoy it. And look up how to do it, because it's not quite that easy, but almost. Another thing is weird thing I make is ghee. I buy butter when it's on sale during the holidays, and I was noticing that some of my butter's been in there for 3 months, so I cooked it down slow and steady, made ghee. That ghee is going to be used as some of my frying oil, etc. It's now stored in my refrigerator, back in my fridge. I've been known to cheat, because you're not supposed to do this, but I have canned ghee and had it be perfectly fine. What gets me is whoever the experts are, will say you can't do it that way, and yet they made ghee in super hot countries because it was a way to keep the butter usable. All right, number 5 to save money when you're on a special diet. Use it up. I can't say it more. I mean, come on now. We as a nation throw away a quarter to a third of the groceries we buy. I think if we planned a little better, and I mean myself too. Oh, don't even ask how much I put in the trash this week. Just foolishness on my part. Use it up. Gluten-free bread. If I buy gluten-free bread and I don't use it all, well, I store it in the freezer, so it generally gets used up in my stuff, in my food. But you can tear it up into crumbs, or you can make croutons. You tear it up and let it dry, and then crumb it up in your food processor. You can use it in French toast. Yum, just yum. Or just make sure you do make it up in sandwiches, etc. It's you paid for it. Let's use it. And meat is probably worse, because at least if you're like me, you pay more per pound for the meat, and then if you don't use it, it hurts my heart. Those animals gave their lives so you can eat meat. Just make sure you use it up. Another thing is small amounts. So if you have leftovers, you can use those up. It's easy, really. I learned. I had always done this, but it became even more important when I had a garden, because sometimes I'd have a handful of green beans and one little zucchini. Yeah, if you garden, get your zucchini small. They taste the best that way. And I'd have, a few peas or a few this, and the carrots were really good by it right then. Use it up. Make a soup, make a stir fry, make a frittata. That's another way of using up eggs. Freeze the leftovers. Some of those could even be canned. If you have a good canning book, you could can it. There are things that tell you how to can small batches, which is a great way for when you're serving one person to do that. There you go. 5 tips on saving money when you're on a special diet.